Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of the Decomposition Pattern podcast, where we break down the hottest takes in tech and programming into their fundamental components. We separate signal from noise, tackle complex topics with clarity, and rebuild our understanding from the ground up. This is Jose, and today I want to talk about daily meetings, retros, and other ceremonies. And this topic was triggered by me reading a post on the social network talking about the teams teams process and how they think using dailies every day would be advantageous, and I just couldn't read it all and not talk about it, because I do think this is not a very interesting way of implementing an agile ceremony or these agile ceremonies. So in this episode, I have 3 points that I want to make to you. What are these ceremonies? Why do I think they are mainly a waste of time in the most common implementations I've seen so far? And how do I think that they can be more effective, right? Because I do believe that they have a place in the software development lifecycle. I just don't think that they need to be every day. So let's start with the first topic then. What are these ceremonies? So daily meetings are a way of syncing teams' work every day, and that also in paper they look very, very great. Like they are a way to focus teams. They are a way to reshape their priorities if something urgent arises. But in practice, I don't think nobody in their right mind will just wait for a meeting to refocus if something bad happens, right? That's just not very practical. If you have a production service going down, you will not wait for a meeting to say, hey, we have this service down, now we need to work on that. That's not very agile, right? So yeah, and the second one, the retro, or that's a short word for retrospective for those of you who don't know. It's a way of looking into a previous cycle and looking into what went right and what went not so great, right? So in an effort to make the team reflect on the past cycle and see how can make things even better or even be more productive, or whatever problems they faced during that cycle. And this all, like I said, this all looks good on paper, right? But the thing is that many of those retrospectives I had are not well prepared. Like, people don't actually have time to reflect on things. If you're doing things like in an agile way and going, you're not having proper time to think or digest, then they will take that meeting to do that. And so these meetings generally have, I don't know, I've seen like the dailies having around 30 to 45 minutes, and the retrospectives going from 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And that's pretty freaking exhausting, okay? So, why do I think that they are generally a waste of time on the common implementations? For the simple fact that they exist. Nah, I'm just kidding. The having a daily sync, it's somewhat redundant, right? So if you have a software that's already helping us managing the project we're developing, there's no reason why I should just wasting everybody's time, right, into stating what everybody can already consult on that software, right? And also these meets force people to be, like, I wouldn't say present, like in person, but they force people to be present, not even to be in a virtual meeting room. So that can also break their day, right? And maybe people were on some focus in the zone, crunching and breaking their keyboard, inputting all that software, and they might be feeling well and being productive, and now they're forcefully being forcefully present in an event where they might not be of many relevance to them, right? So that this is the biggest con I have against the daily meetings routine, because, well, also there's another thing against it, is that, well, in this day and age of fully distributed remote teams, where they might even span different time zones, that's kind of a mess, right? Sometimes it's impossible. And on the retrospective, I don't think it's too much of a of a waste of time. I think it's important for people to discuss what's wrong. I just don't think that people would wait or should wait for the retrospective to talk about something that was bad. My line of thought here is that if there's a situation, a bad enough situation that needs to be discussed in a retrospective, then it should not wait for the retrospective. It should even be tackled as fast as possible. We're probably not talking about I don't know, the project didn't went so good because we were blocked by somebody. That's just, or blocked too much. There's something you can discuss on your daily meeting, right? So what's the big reason for retrospectives to even exist? I don't find it many, right? I'm more of a practical person that thinks that if you have a problem now, you shouldn't wait for tomorrow. You should just expose your problem and work out with the relevant people. If you have a problem with somebody, you work it out with that somebody. If you have a problem with the process, you expose it like to your manager or whoever is the owner of that process, and you try to help collaboratively to make it better. You don't need to wait for the retrospective, right? So I also don't find retrospectives very useful. We should send continuous feedback, as if Agile is a way of continuously react to feedback from customers to our product, then we should do the same, because we are the customers of these processes in the company, right? We are the customers and we use them, we consume them. So we should also share active and promptly feedback when something is not right, so that we can all be agile, right? And work it out and make it better. So that's why I think they are mainly a waste of time in their current implementation. Now, hooking into the third topic, how do I think that they can be more effective? Now, that's a good question that I want to state to you. I think that daily meetings should not be daily, and they should not be about status updates. They should be an asynchronous call to action stating, hey, can you state if everything is good with you, or if you are blocked with something, or if you see that a planned task is just taking longer than expected and you might need to react to it, rescope it, or something like that. Please do share it, but making all of these asynchronous. So I, as a software engineer that's probably more active in the morning or whatever, can just read that at lunchtime or whatever and just write an answer in the afternoon, right? Don't need to break my morning because I need to be at 10 a.m. like in the middle of my morning into a meeting that just going to be a duplicate of whatever you can see on your project management tool. Okay, and the retrospectives, I also think they can be more effective if they really need to exist, which I don't think they need, but if they do need to exist for some reason, they can be more effective if everybody shared their problems ahead of time. So other people could just look into it and see how they feel about it, if they have anything relevant to say, if they can propose things, and they just go into the retrospective already knowing what we need to talk about, and maybe already optimize it with some solutions or some insights or further, right? So more information to make this faster, right? With only these two changes in how people are commonly implementing these ceremonies, I truly believe that they can be a real asset and really important part of software development lifecycle. But this needs to be respected. Daily meetings, I'm just using the same term. I don't think they need to be daily, but these daily meetings or sync updates or how do you feel today, right? Or the checkpoints, whatever you want to call them, should be asynchronous, to let everybody in their own time to answer or to fill in their part of the information. And the retros should be a final, maybe even asynchronous discussion about how things are going and what we need to address. Okay, but let people know at least ahead of time that this will happen. We have this meeting that we have to be everybody in sync for some reason, but people already know what we are talking about. People have already like filled whatever metric you want to feel, like are you happy, aren't you happy, and whatever you think it's important for you to measure the pulse of the team, but not actually having having everybody thinking at the same time, only at the time of the retrospective. That's just also a waste of time and very ineffective. And this is all there is to it. Please don't make everybody fit in an agenda or a calendar event time that might just break their day and just make it all inefficient. And don't make people just think about problems at the very end, and just let them have some process that let people submit any situation and help them discuss and work it out without waiting for the retrospective. So in the end, what I would say it's even better is just have this continuously automatic process of sharing a post or a status update or a checkpoint asking, hey, do you have anything to say about the development of your project? Are you sure that your tasks are up to date? Don't forget to keep them updated for visibility. Have this call to action, and I think that's all that you need. Forget retrospectives. Let's be extreme here. Forget retrospectives. Just use that post to explain what is not going so well so far, and then take all that feedback and then think about what you can do for your team and just share a possible solution for that problem. Be agile, right? Actually dog food yourself with an agile approach to this. That's it I have for this episode. And once again, I call everybody to join our Discord server. The link is in the podcast description. You can access, and we now have a very easy to decorate and to remember URL, which is discord.thedecompositionpattern.com. So be sure to access it. Again, discord.thedecompositionpattern.com. Right? Access, come, and you'll be invited to our server. Feel free to join. Come, share your feedback about this episode. What do you think? Do you think do you have daily meetings? Do you think they are effective? Do you also agree they might be a waste of time? Come talk to me. Come give me this feedback, and also share some feedback about how you're liking the podcast so far and what you wanted to change. Until then, have a nice day. See you in the next episode.